Welcome to another debut episode. And this one is going to be special because the guest we have, I'm not going to take his name right now. The guest we have is someone which is known figure. And this could have been the best, arguably the best guest that we could have called on this show as a debut. I'm just going to give you some hints just to say if you can guess who that person is. Our guest today is a distinguished former IAS officer, renowned for the multifaceted contribution as a motivational speaker, wait for it, author, mentor, advisor, columnist, and visiting professor. As a commendable 25-year tenure in public service, he voluntarily retired in 2017 to pursue his diverse interest. Holds a degree in electronics from NIT Kurukshetra and has a diploma in French. Still going. He has been a director of IT and was instrumental in establishing the Chandigarh IT park. More cues coming your way. And he spearheaded the award-winning e-Sampark project, enhancing citizen-government interactions. During his tenure as Deputy Commissioner of Panchkula, Mr. Atray initiated impactful projects as Village Mentoring and Aadhaar Samman. He is a motivational speaker who has spoken on TEDx and Josh already. As a founder of Suvichar think tank and chair of the Yogananda Center for Theology at Shulini University, he is deeply involved in academy and leadership thoughts. His favorite book, Yogananda Paramhans' Autobiography of a Yogi. And that's not all. He has been an under-19 cricket player. And if he wouldn't have been an IAS, I'm sure you would have seen him playing in your Indian national team as well. Welcome, Mr. Vivek Atray. It's been an honor to have you on this show for the debut of the political delegate series that we have at ShivAdiAnt.
Thank you so much, Kunal. It's been nice talking to you in the lead up. It's a pleasure to be here, and I think you're very meticulous, very well prepared. Thanks for the introduction. Just one thing that if I had not been an IAS, I would have been a cricket player. Because I didn't become a cricket player, that's why I became an IAS. I couldn't become, that was the first choice. And thank you, Piyush, also.
My pleasure.
And I think there's one more thing we want to say. As a trademark of ShivAdiAnt, we would request you to recite a shlok, and then we get into the main questions that we have.
Yeah, so my most favorite and most applicable to all of us, and the universal important message of the Gita, Karmanyavadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana, which means that we have the right to work, but we don't have the right to the fruits of our labor, our efforts, our work. And that attitude we forget as human beings. We want the results, but the results are not in our hands. So I think that is something which resonates very deeply with my own learnings, thinkings, and that's why I wanted to share that.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
And whatever, Kunal, you have said, that was mouthful. You couldn't have said that in a more better way.
Absolutely.
Like, itne sare achievements. When I was, reading about you, I was like, how can एक बंदा इतने सारे काम कैसे कर सकता है?
पता है कि हमारे सबकी अचीवमेंट्स होती हैं, बस मैंने ज्यादा लिख दी उनको अच्छे से.
नहीं सर, जब मैं पढ़ रहा था, आपने बुक्स भी लिखी हैं. I was like, damn, मतलब मेरे से तो इतना सब नहीं हो पाता.
नहीं, एक बुक तो सबको लिखनी चाहिए.
Yes. I think that's a nice thought, yeah.
So that's an incentive for you both.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely.
Now, sir, let's start with the first question.
Sure.
It would be tough.
I'm ready. Bouncer.
So your career has spanned governance, leadership, and mentorship. If you had to describe your journey using a metaphor, perhaps a river that adapts, a mountain that stands firm, or a storm that reshapes, what would it be and why?
I think the career has been like a typhoon. I think there's one typhoon known as Linda. There could be other typhoons. I even read why these typhoons are named after ladies and the person who named them after ladies. But that's a different story. The thing is that no life is a smooth life. And a career in the civil service, certainly not. But then you look at any career, an entrepreneur, a startup entrepreneur, somebody who's taking a risk, setting up a venture, somebody even in banking, in cricket, in football, in music. There is so much risk in the career, plus risk in life. And nothing is predictable. So I think we have to be brave and strong, and the journey, enjoy the journey.
Okay.
I think I'm going to throw a little bouncer, like you said.
Sure. I'm an opening batsman. So you are the two tall fast bowlers.
I know you've been very busy. You have a very hectic schedule. But if I give you an opportunity, like a responsibility-free day, no emails, no phone calls, what would be the first thing that you would want to do on that day?
I think I'll meditate better because very frankly and very truthfully, and I know my wife and the senior devotees of our organization must be watching, but during meditation, if I remember a message I had to send, a phone call I had to make, I have to make it at that time. So I pause my meditation, make that phone call, or I take that phone call, receive that call which I was awaiting. So obviously the mind is distracted.
Yes.
If there is a day without the device, which you know that the phone is not there, you'll meditate better.
Yeah.
And you will go deeply. So meditation is one. I think I'll also spend more time on physical exercise that day. A longer walk, more push-ups, more whatever, squats, games, sports. Plus, I think do those things which you love. Writing. I love writing. Maybe even, with my wife, we sometimes sit down to plan a duet. The time doesn't come. This one we have to record that. We are not good singers. We try, but we love it. So I think all these things I would do.
So what was the last duet that you recorded?
The last duet we recorded was Chupa Lo Yun Dil Mein Pyar Mera. That was the duet.
Wow. Wow. That was awesome. All right. So when Piyush and I were discussing to get you on board here, we have two aims from this episode today. One is for the students from the IIMs, MBA and non-IIMs who are about to get placed or have already been placed. That's our first target audience. And the second one are the working professionals. And I think in your whole demeanor, I see that you have both imbibed in you. Like your Haryana Civil Services, and then you getting into the IAS. So you have seen it all, to be honest. So let me ask you from an MBA perspective first, because in our first podcast, we spoke to a lot of the students and their question was centered around, when I enter a job, I'm not sure what am I supposed to do. Yes, I will have a manager. Yes, they will tell me, but I'm coming with a different mindset. I have been told in the last 2 years just to work on the case studies, projects, assignments. That's my work. That's my area. But now I have been suddenly thrown in a corporate environment and I have no idea. So what is your thought to the future emerging leaders, as I call them, because they are the future of Bharat, as we say, in about 5 years from now?
Yeah, the future emerging leaders, very good point. Firstly, I've also worked in the corporate sector, KPMG, PwC, 1 year each as advisor. And I've also done a lot of advising and corporate speaking. And as Director IT of Chandigarh, much of my work was with companies. So I saw their culture, getting them to invest in Chandigarh was the aim, and some of them did.
Yeah.
So I've seen the corporate culture, the MBAs, where they work, how they work. I even tell the students whom I address now as a motivational speaker, that all your coding and all your software, even in IT, will go out of the window when you become a team leader.
Yeah.
You're not going to be coding, you're going to be dealing with people.
Yeah.
And the people skills will come in handy. So to a youngster, I would say that focus on your technicalities, but also focus on your mind, your people skills, your all-round development, your ability to communicate, even empathize with those who are not like you, and then to bring out the best from others. Even when you're an MBA student or even a school student in organizing an event, you're backstage, you're front stage, you're talking to a speaker like me, like you, anyone who's coming, learning is there. So it prepares you more than your books and your degree for life ahead. Life is about people skills. It is not really about number crunching, not about AI, not about technology that much. You need that, but to be successful at home in your family as well as at work, you need human skills, interaction skills, communication skills, listening skills. So to MBA students, I would say be ready to be a human being and to receive other energies as they come, which is of course a different realm of discussion. But on your first day, your first year, work hard, be good at your work, but also develop your all-round personality.
So you mentioned something very important and interesting. आपने बोला कि you need to be better human being. And I think ज़्यादातर लोग ये बात नहीं बोलते. What they say is focus on your skills. ये technology कर लो, ये soft skills सीख लो. But मुझे लगता है being a human being first is very, very important. Can you just give more insight what you mean? Why do you say that?
See, firstly, I'm a leadership mentor now. So I mentor CEOs also. I mentor startups. I mentor people who are even in the civil services and others who have led teams already. Now in their mid-leadership career, they're facing some crisis or they're facing challenges, or there's one who says that I keep losing my temper at my team and people keep leaving me. So I said, then the answer is very simple. But implementing that answer is very difficult. So when I say human qualities, you see, in today's era, two things are going wrong. One is we are too much into technology and the virtual world. Gen Z has not been given the incentive to have conversations. We are having a conversation on a podcast. You, I and Piyush could probably have a conversation over coffee even outside. But most of the people today will not be able to carry out a conversation, which is high value. High value doesn't mean money. It means fulfilling conversation, which makes you feel energized and charged. Correct. And if it's only about stock market or cricket also, it's not enough. It needs to be about the human beings. Secondly, I think people have become a little... Competition is cutthroat. People have become cynical and cut and dry. Even on the road, Delhi is a good example of road rage. So the human values, the human being which you asked me, will not only be a better worker, a better professional in a company, better vibes, which 2025 humanity thinks we know everything. We haven't been able to measure vibes yet. Let's celebrate the discussion. What is my aura? Is it 9.2? Is it 4.6?
Wow.
By chance वो half ही है, 4.6, 9.2 is exactly half. So point क्या है? Point क्या है कि हमारा aura, vibe, हमारी energy जो है, that has to be somehow channelized to the right direction. My hard work coupled with my people skills, human qualities will make me a much better leader, a much better professional, more successful. And ultimately, success is not money. Success is goodwill. Goodwill. How you made people feel. You know that quote.
Correct.
Not what you said or what you did, but how you made people feel is what matters.
Yes, because that's what
and
they remember.
That is what. So after this conversation, we'll have a certain feeling.
Yes.
So if we are feeling good from the conversation, that's the aim of the thing. And that's the aim of your life also.
Absolutely.
So human values are required, and human values, we all know them, what they are. We don't need to repeat them.
बट सर लाइक आपने जैसे कहा वैल्यूज़ होनी चाहिए, बट हमारी और आपकी जनरेशन में बहुत ज़्यादा गैप है. जेनजीज आजकल सोचते हैं लाइक मनी इज़ एवरीथिंग. सो आपके उनके लिए क्या एक मैसेज होगा?
So I always say that money and power and fame are the material goals which are important. It's important to be able to buy a car if you need a car, and everybody needs a car. You need to fly to Bangalore for something personal, you should be able to fly. Your favorite rock star band is coming to Bombay, you should be able to go. You should be in that stage of your career where you're not thinking about such expenses being too much or exorbitant. So you're earning enough, you're comfortable. For a modern, urban professional of today. But do I need a Lamborghini? Do I need a Lamborghini or do I want a Lamborghini? What level of car will make me comfortable? A small car, I'm too tall. Okay, I don't fit into the small car. I am 5'11". You may be taller, but I need a car where I can sit comfortably, which takes me from here to the Kumbh Mela or to Kanyakumari beyond, right? The point is, greed and need are two different things.
Right.
So my money making should be enough to make me comfortable in life. Power is fleeting. I've been in the Indian Administrative Service. It comes and goes. And reputations matter more than official power. Fame, Ronaldo is number one for a long time on Instagram, but he won't be there forever. And Instagram is not going to be there forever either. Sorry about that to Instagram. but the thing is that fame is also not permanent. So what you need to seek is, whatever you're doing, what is the goal? The goal is to be basically feel joyful and delighted about whatever you have. If you get money, you wanted money, you're delighted. So it's how you feel that matters. And at the end of life, if life is shorter than you think, you didn't achieve those goals which you wanted to,
Correct.
then what have you left behind? And what are you? So leave some memories behind. I may be talking in a very philosophical way, but I say to put it in a nutshell, be practical, be ambitious, do well in your career, make enough money that you need, be powerful enough, be successful in the material world, but also win the inner battle, that inner battle. And each day notice nature, appreciate human beings. How much better you feel like that? What is the point of being a cynical critic? Everybody you meet, wo kharab hai, ye kharab hai. That abusiveness of society today, I've written about it. It is making the vibe negative, plus it's making our lives negative.
Yeah.
That is what I mean.
सर लाइक अभी लास्ट टाइम ही लाइक 5-10 days बैक ही हम लोगों ने अपना पॉडकास्ट किया फ्रॉम कॉर्पोरेट सीरीज एंड हमारे उसमें काफ़ी कमेंट्स आ रहे थे कि हम वी वांट टू डू आवर स्टार्टअप एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप करना है, हमें कुछ ऐसा बताओ कि हम कैसे क्या करें. सो व्हेन आई वाज चेकिंग योर प्रोफाइल, यू आर द डायरेक्टर ऑफ चंडीगढ़ IT पार्क.
Yes, I was.
यस. तो लाइक आप हमारे व्यूअर्स को बताओगे लाइक क्या एक स्टेप होना चाहिए एंटरप्रेन्योर का, बेसिकली कैसे उसे स्टार्ट करना चाहिए? Because you have been there, you are the director.
Yeah, I was. So I was encouraging entrepreneurs. Chandigarh was not known for IT.
Yes.
Exactly.
Not known for entrepreneurship. हम लोग कैपिटल सिटी टाइप ब्यूरोक्रेटिक सिटी टाइप जाने जाते थे. तो चंडीगढ़ टूरिज्म एंड IT वाज विद मी. आई यूज्ड टू प्रमोट चंडीगढ़. स्टार्टअप कल्चर बनाने के लिए बहुत टाइम लगा, लेकिन बन गया अब.
Yes.
और बहुत अच्छा बन गया है. जॉब्स काफ़ी आ गए. तो स्टार्टअप एंटरप्रेन्योर को क्या करना है? फर्स्टली, there are three things we all know. We need some resources. We need some risk-taking ability. We need some ideas. We need an ecosystem. We might fail. We need to learn from failure. But apart from that, I would say two things. Dynamic energy चाहिए. Startup करने के लिए listless, dull तो नहीं हो सकते हम कि अपने आप चल रहा है सब कुछ. If your land is acquired and you got crores of rupees, then you're going to be only flying around the world and doing that for doing nothing. You will sorry to say that you will die very soon.
Yes.
आपके अंदर जोश तो है नहीं.
Yeah.
आप वो मतलब कैवियर खा के और इधर उधर प्राइवेट जेट में you're flying around the world. Your health is not going to be very good. So when you are doing something, there is a saying, I think it is called हरकत में बरकत है. हरकत में बहुत कुछ है. Even Sikhism, किरत करो. Do your job. We just talked about कर्म करो. Action is very important, which a youngster takes, an entrepreneur takes. So I have all the qualities. I know the roadmap. I may still not succeed, but I need to go with that energy, dynamic energy. उसके बाद होगा.
एक बात बताइए सर, डायरेक्टर ऑफ IT getting the Chandigarh for the Chandigarh IT Park, awesome. That would you consider that as your success, or was that had some elements of failure as well?
So I think it was one of the landmarks of my career, and the Prime Minister of India, Dr. Manmohan Singh, at that time, he came and inaugurated it. I have a very memorable meeting with him and a picture with him. And the IT Park of Chandigarh has now got more than 20,000 jobs, could be 25, 30. And as a result, maybe about 50 to 70,000 more jobs have been developed in this area. And Chandigarh is a city, because you're talking about Chandigarh, which we used to call, there is a Chandigarh dilemma. That dilemma is, my education is superb, but I don't have jobs commensurate with my education in Chandigarh.
Yeah.
So I have to go to Bangalore, Delhi, Bombay or abroad to be at that level. And then I miss the life of Chandigarh, the quality of life which we have here.
Yes.
And then that family, etc. So that dilemma is there. So for beating that problem, we had to bring in some jobs here of that level. So when Infosys came, other companies came, at least to a part extent, we were able to do that. So I think it was an accomplishment. I don't consider it to be a failure at all, but I think Chandigarh could do more. And I am not the only one who had to do it. And I am not the only one who can take credit for that. I would say I was director. There was my boss who was secretary IT, then the advisor or chief secretary, then the governor Punjab, who was the administrator, and then the team along with me and below me and wherever, they all were part of it. STPI, the Software Technology Park of India, Ministry of IT, NIC, again, wonderful organization. Everybody deserves the credit.
Awesome. And the reason I asked that question, because the intent was not to be critical. The intent was for the future leaders to know this, that when you do any entrepreneurship or when you do any leadership roles, there will be failures for sure. And I've seen nowadays, many of the students or the young professionals, they succumb to the pressure. Like as soon as they are thrown under the bus, they try to take an easy road out. And I think that's their mantra nowadays. And I don't agree with that.
I totally agree with you. What you're saying is a very good point. So failures are a part of life. And when I say it wasn't a failure, they were definitely challenges.
Yeah.
So we had to convince people, first of all,
that
an IT park is needed. And then to create something, rules, transformations were taking place. And then for me to become from a bureaucrat kind of person to a promoter or an ambassador of the city and go out, and I was the first one. We started cards in the government at that time in 2000, 2002. Nobody of a government officer would not give his card at that time. Now we started handing out our cards to everybody. Director IT Chandigarh, this is my number. You think you're investing, you contact me. So it became a different role mindset. And then those challenges, as I said, lots of challenges. One challenge I'll give you. The road to the IT park was a 2-lane road. We wanted an 8-lane or 6-lane road. To make that 6-lane road, we had to do some planning. What I did was, I convinced my boss that 7 months down the line, sir, when the IT park is likely to be inaugurated, we should invite the Prime Minister of India. Dr. Manmohan Singh came.
Nice thought.
So 7 months before we started the correspondence, PMO email went or chitti went. Now we wrote to the PWD, Prime Minister has been invited. He hasn't confirmed. But then 7 months they made the road.
Yes.
And he came also. Sometimes the VIP doesn't come, but the road is made. That also happens.
But sir, आप like इतना सारा संभाल रहे, there must be some mental pressure.
So what he said, so you are both saying the right thing. Challenges and failures and pressures are bound to exist. So 2 things I say in my talks and my writings. Perfection is not possible. Nobody's perfect. If you are human, some imperfection has to be there. And anybody who thinks otherwise, he's mistaken. And predictability is not possible. I cannot say what I'll be doing tomorrow at 4 p.m. Maybe I have a meeting which is fixed. But you never know. Postponement, earthquake, anything can happen. So the point is, accept this and learn from it. So even in a startup journey or any leadership role, how you respond to uncertain situations, sudden situations. I have many stories where the leader or the person was being challenged by the unfamiliar situation. And how his inner qualities made him handle it. Otherwise, he couldn't have handled it. Preparation, it's not written in the book. A situation came which is not there in the plan. So how do you handle it? So in India, we know the electricity power cut may be there sometime. But we don't know that rockets may be fired or something. So if something is unplanned, then how do you handle it? That is the thing.
So I think he has asked and I wanted to take a segue from this. So mental pressure, आजकल एक taboo बन गया हुआ है. And the reason I say that is because when we interact with a lot of the students and the comments that we receive, they tell us that because of this mental stress, what happens is we go to substance usage because that is the most easiest thing which is accessible to us. So, and you are associated with Shulini University as well.
That's right.
You are a motivational speaker. You are a TEDx speaker. Now, when you go to these forums, I'm not going to say what's the message, but how do you prepare that you need to tell a student who is so down that he has gone to the level of substance usage to come out of it?
So I think it's a very important question. I'll take a little longer on this. Firstly, I think the mental pressure is due to overthinking and over expectation.
Mm-hmm.
So first, let's talk about why it is there and how we can remove it. Then we come to the substance abuse part.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's an extreme case, which is happening, of course.
Yeah.
So mental pressure and overthinking is because we are comparing ourselves with others.
Correct.
Parents are comparing ourselves with others. I went to a school where I gave a talk and the student gets up and says, "Sir, my parents keep comparing me to others.
Yeah.
I don't know what to do." I said, "See, your parents love you. They want the best for you. Their method may be wrong. You take it in your stride. They're comparing you with a student who gets more marks. But you may be better at cricket. You may be better at all-round activities. So don't be disheartened by that." 5 things I tell the students, and this is for your students. Physical fitness. If you're physically fit, your mental pressure will reduce.
Agreed.
Because you are
Agreed.
running, you will sleep on time.
Agreed.
Your body, your hormones, 4 happy hormones,
Yeah.
Yes.
endorphins, dopamine, serotonin, oxytocin, they are coming from various good activities, including physical exercise. So the second is meditation, and we should meditate regularly, not only when the exams are there or the results are coming. Third is conversations.
Oh yeah.
Students
Absolutely.
who talk to each other, to their parents, to their
Yes.
friends, they will be lighter in their mind. The pressure will be less. Mental pressure will be less.
Yes.
They don't talk. They only text. And texting is not enough.
Yeah.
So please talk. Human beings are meant to talk and listen.
Yeah.
This faculty is given to us. Number 4, creativity. An artist, a musician, even a sportsman, anybody who writes will be a little less depressed or under pressure because that creativity brings out the best. And 5th, I would say, read more books.
Yeah.
All of us have read books. Those books are calming. They give us knowledge. They give us substance. So our success factor will improve. So mental pressure can be handled through these ways. I would also say that we should all stop thinking too much about what others are thinking.
Absolutely.
I used to be growing up in cricket thinking, what will my coach think? It was my fault.
Yeah.
I cannot focus on the ball if I'm thinking about how many marks or runs will I get in this case.
Yeah.
And I have a quote in my book, Finding Success Within. And it is, life is not about marks. Life is about making a mark.
Wow.
गलती से लिख दिया.
No.
But लिख दिया तो लिख दिया. Now, नंबर आने कितने जरूरी नहीं है. असरदार जिंदगी. Impact.
Yes.
So, in that, where's the pressure then?
Yeah.
Well, go for it. And plus, at the end of life, it won't really matter. You really need to rise above. Your consciousness has to go up.
Yeah.
So if we elevate the conversation here, ultimately you take a top view of life.
Yeah.
Where are we feeling bad about what?
Yeah.
What are we feeling bad about? उसने कुछ
Correct.
कहा.
Yes.
वो कहा तो कहा, it's gone.
Correct.
You're lying awake. He's sleeping. You are lying awake.
Absolutely. अगर मैं यहाँ से एक सेगवे लूँ, ये चीज़ हम बहुत डिस्कस करते हैं. When Piyush and I are like having free time, we are roaming in the car, trying to find a guest, and finding a guest is a challenge.
बहुत बड़ा challenge है Kunal.
But there is 2 words I will tell you on what you just said. You said 5 things. I'm going to add one more perspective of mine, which is perception and perspective.
Yes.
And I've seen this, that most of the students have their own perception.
Mm-hmm.
What happens with that is they get into a perceptive mode only, where they are perceiving things only from what they are thinking. But when you take a step further and you go to perspective, like now you understand my perspective, not your perception, then you take a step wider, you have an advantage. And now you can think more maturely to take that step ahead of mental pressures. When I interact with students, like you said, make a mark. Like making a mark is such an easy line to say. But doing that,
it takes a lifetime.
Exactly.
Yes.
It takes a lifetime. And I think you have something on that. We were discussing about that.
कुणाल, आपको याद है जो हम लोग IIM में अपने एक सेशन देने गए थे?
Oh yeah.
सबका
Yes.
Everyone was there कि हम लोग को short success चाहिए.
Yes.
मतलब एक ही दिन में quick
Yes,
success.
yes.
आप हमें कुछ ऐसा बता दो, हमें quick
Yes,
success मिल जाए.
Yes.
हम अभी IIM से निकले हैं.
Yes.
अब हमारा 60 लाख 70 लाख का पैकेज
Exactly.
मिल जाए. सबके दिमाग में
मैं ISB भी जाता हूँ, IIMs में भी गया हूँ, IITs में भी गया हूँ. इडली जो है ना, वो फर्मेंट होती है 2 दिन में. उसका जो बैटर होता है, उसको 2 दिन का टाइम लगता है. मैं बोलूँ जी मेरा मन कर रहा है इडली और अभी स्क्रैच से अभी बनाओ. Something is suffering there, na? A microwave is not a healthy way to heat up food. You look at all the top boxers of the world sportsmen, they don't eat microwave food.
Yes.
किसी भी चीज को एक्सेलरेट ज्यादा कर दो, वो इतना एंजॉयबल नहीं है, वो इतना हेल्दी नहीं है, वो कुछ नहीं है. सो इंस्टेंट ग्रेटिफिकेशन इज द बेन of this era. Wait, be patient. The beautiful trees, everything comes with time.
Yeah.
So seasons come. You look at the flower, it will flower in February only.
Yeah.
Time उसको आप अक्टूबर में नहीं कर सकते. अगर आप vegetables you are modifying nowadays agriculture, so you're getting the winter vegetables in summer, but something is suffering. So I would say that ये जो एक instant gratification का एक वो है, and the more you are, as you said, money, and that's what everybody is telling them, expectation, कितने marks आए, कितने number आए, कितने पैसे मिले. ये एक देखो business minded होना, revenue earning होना, and to have a target or to earn money is not wrong at all. It's good. But to be consumed by that, and to adopt shortcuts, and to be worse, deceitful, is really the problem. And should I come back to one point which I missed? Substance abuse.
Yeah.
Yes.
That substance abuse is something which is basically so intoxicating that our willpower, it goes.
Yeah.
So some monk said, a very senior monk said, the opposite of willpower is addiction. When you are addicted to something, your willpower is zero.
Yeah.
Yes.
You will do that thing which you are addicted to. So willpower is zero. So I think substance abuse adds to the addiction. And people who are actually into sports, their substance abuse is minimal. Though there are rare cases where they took substance to enhance their performance, that's a separate issue. A state in North India which is suffering from drugs, if there was much more sport in that state, then the amount of drugs would be less. So there are ways to combat substance abuse. And lastly on this, I went to IIT Madras. There were 4 suicides in 2023. There have been no suicides in 2024. Some of us worked with those students. Similar thing. They were stressing themselves out with expectation. I said, you are in NIRF ranking number 1. What is your problem? Why are you depressed? So he became the captain of the club.
Correct.
But there's no end to it. Yeah? Forget
Exactly.
the club.
Yeah.
You become the deputy captain. You become you be the substitute fielder.
Correct.
Or whatever club it is.
Yeah.
So I think we are putting too much pressure on ourselves, and that's why substance abuse comes. And let me lastly say, parents are also responsible.
Yeah, I completely agree. Yeah, because they add a lot. It's not about parents. They want to put students in a pressure. It's like inadvertently they are saying things and putting things in the student's head, children's head. कि उसका लड़का देखा वो कहाँ पहुँच गया.
ये parents की कमी है.
Yes.
And parents are too busy for the kids.
Correct.
So from the age of 6 to the age of 16, 10 years.
Yeah.
That child is grown from 6 to 16. How much time do you spend with them?
Correct. Yes.
So that is the problem.
इसका एक और चीज है जो फीस आजकल है. अगर मैं MBA की बात करूं, मैंने जितने भी लोगों से बात की, everyone was like, we are paying 30 lakhs rupees. तो हमें at least we want 20 to 25 lakh package. But उन लोगों को नहीं मिलता है. Then उनको एक mental pressure आता है कि मेरे को तो अपना ही, क्योंकि उनके ऊपर लोन भी चल रहा है. जैसे ही वो अपनी डिग्री खत्म करेंगे, उनका लोन स्टार्ट हो जाएगा. एंड उन्हें जॉब्स मिल रही हैं Tier 1 सिटीज में, लाइक बॉम्बे, दिल्ली. तो इसमें रेंट वगैरह, तो वो लोग कहते हैं कि हम लोग क्या करें. तो आप इसमें आपका क्या टेक रहेगा?
देखो, इसमें ये है कि एक तो लॉन्ग टर्म इन्वेस्टमेंट तो है ना. एजुकेशन इज अ लॉन्ग टर्म इन्वेस्टमेंट, इसमें तो कोई डाउट नहीं है.
करेक्ट.
हम 1 साल की पढ़ाई के बाद 1 साल में ही वो रिकवर करें, ये तो कोई सेंसिबल बात नहीं है. सेकेंडली ये है कि एजुकेशन कैन नॉट बी मेजर्ड इन टर्म्स ऑफ मनी. हाउएवर आपने करना ही है अगर, तो आप 30 लाख का MBA मत करो. MBA मत करो, फिर कुछ और कर लो. अगर आपके पास वो इतना रिसोर्सेज हैं या आपके पास उतना है, तभी आप थोड़ा सा रिस्क हैज टू बी टेकन विद सम कॉशन. देयर इज अ सेइंग, यू ब्लेंड कॉशन विद अग्रेशन. दोनों का ब्लेंड आना है ना हमें. सो इट हैज टू बी अ कैलकुलेटेड रिस्क. वी कैन नॉट बी ब्रैश कि हम तो धज्जियां उड़ा देंगे, ये कर देंगे, वो कर देंगे, 30 लाख तो मैं ऐसे कमा लूंगा. वो तो फिर फुल हार्टेडनेस है ना. वो तो बॉलीवुड का हीरो तो जो मर्जी करे, हमें तो प्रैक्टिकल बनना है.
सर एक बात बताइए, अब एक यंग प्रोफेशनल पे आते हैं जो अभी जॉब में है, 3-4 साल हुए उसको. अब एक एंग्जाइटी मैंने देखी है जब भी एक प्रोफेशनल अप्रेजल का टाइम आता है, परफॉर्मेंस रिव्यू. एंड द रीजन आई एम सेइंग दिस इज बिकॉज इन योर लाइन ऑफ वर्क you would have also gone through that. And I think that would be much more, what's the right word, difficult or intense as compared to what these students face or
No,
these
it's
freshers
similar.
face.
It's similar. In fact, I'll tell you, it's the reverse. In government, people cannot take action against you easily.
Mhm.
So there are people who hardly work, but they are fine. They are fine. उनको कोई मुश्किल नहीं हो रही. They'll get, let's say, a very good report instead of an excellent report. They'll get very good or good. Well, they're fine. They're like
fine,
cool
yeah.
shul.
Mm.
But somebody is working very hard
Yeah.
and is annoying other people. He will get an average report.
Yeah.
So in government, it's a different matter. In the corporate world, your increment is linked to your report.
Correct.
Yes.
In the government, it is not strictly linked unless somebody has spoilt your report.
Mhm.
If somebody has spoilt your report or for some reason you got a very below average report, then your promotion, your increment will be delayed.
Mhm.
But otherwise, no. In the corporate world, the better report, the more increment or the salary normally.
Mhm.
So that pressure, I think, is also in the corporate world a little more. Plus, in the corporate world, your relationship with your boss really matters a lot.
Yes.
And there is a saying that
absolutely.
you're talking about young professionals, you did not leave the job, you left the boss.
Correct.
Because you could not
Absolutely.
stand this boss.
Yes.
And that's why you didn't leave the company, you left
Yeah,
the boss.
Yeah.
So it's like a relationship breakup.
Yeah.
So I think we need to understand the pressure of the time of appraisals is more there. But in the long run, you have to understand that an obnoxious boss, okay, that is a different matter.
Mhm.
If you have a working relationship, you agree to disagree. Okay, this guy is your immediate colleague and he's superior to you. You don't really like him, but you are able to work with him.
Mm.
You're fine. But if you detest him, you start hating him, then your life becomes hell. Every day you're thinking about him only. So it is your mind you have to control. You have to win the inner battle. And resentment and all this,
Part of the game.
Yeah, you shouldn't have too much of it.
अगर मैं आपको थोड़ा और difficult situation में डालूं इससे, was there a time when you had to go something similar in your tenure and how
Yeah.
you came out of it?
It happens. There was a boss who was, I wouldn't say he was against me, but he was probably a little insecure.
Mhm.
Not that I was going to supersede him or anything. He was insecure. So he would make my life difficult in a way. He would come to my office very early in the morning and I would not be there by then. and he would make it difficult. So then, but then later I think we made up a little, he understood the quality of the person.
Mhm.
And he also relaxed. And now we became actually quite good friends. But initially he was a little insecure. So I've had a few of them. But let me say that 90% of my bosses were very inspiring.
Oh wow.
In government, we don't give the credit to government officers. They work hard. And I think the officer level works harder. Although at times elections, board exams, the staff will be working like 24 hours, no doubt. But I think officers work really hard. And they take calls at midnight also.
Then why do we give them the credit?
We don't give them the credit because we are thinking, because the government has not been able to build its image properly. I've been in PR for the government.
Okay.
I've been the director of public relations.
Uh-huh.
Our presentation of the government to the society is not good enough. We're not doing enough even today. Police stations
Yeah.
or revenue departments, excise department, transport department, they're maligned. PWD, they're maligned department.
Yeah.
There may be something good in them.
Mm.
So where are we talking about that human interest story?
Yeah.
They should come out with the example. Look at our outstanding JE, our outstanding SHO. He did this.
Yeah.
Where are we hearing about these stories?
Like a star performer.
Yeah, star performer.
Yeah, exactly.
An employee of the month.
Yeah, exactly.
Do that in the government. That's
Yeah.
how.
Awesome.
रेस होनी चाहिए कॉर्पोरेट में बेसिकली वही है
वही है
एक रेस वहाँ पे सबको पता है ना कोई हमारे लिए एक्शन नहीं लेगा जैसा चल रहा है चलने दो
रेस पे एक मजाक ये है कि आई वाज अ क्रिकेटर एंड आई जॉइंड द सर्विस आई वाज स्टिल अ क्रिकेटर and we had an annual race of officers, a sports day of officers, and one officer who I thought not very fit, he was to race with me and one or two others. I thought I'll beat him, but he beat me. I'm running fast, but he's running faster. I thought this guy is running faster than me, but in that race it was okay.
सर जैसा कि बहुत लोग कहते हैं कि जो एथिक्स है वो बहुत ही इंपॉर्टेंट होता है एक लीडरशिप के लिए, बट जब हाई स्टेक्स एनवायरनमेंट में एक ग्रे एरिया होता है जहाँ पे हमारे एथिक्स मगर डगमगा जाते हैं, सो हमें वो कहाँ पे एक लाइन ड्रॉ करनी चाहिए व्हेन वी आर एट टॉप लेवल लीडरशिप?
बहुत अच्छा क्वेश्चन है. पहले फैमिली को ले लेते हैं इसी के लिए. हेड ऑफ द फैमिली, एथिक्स. हेड ऑफ द फैमिली ने रेड लाइट क्रॉस की, बच्चे देख रहे हैं पूरी जिंदगी. अब बच्चा 18 साल का हो गया या 16 साल में लाइसेंस मिल गया गियरलेस. बच्चे आपने रेड लाइट पे रुकना है. बोले पापा तो आप तो कभी रुके नहीं.
Correct.
So that is where ethics comes into play. This is a very small example, maybe a big example also. You tell somebody, tell him that I'm not at home. Where is the ethics then?
Yeah.
And we are human. I'm not passing any judgment on anybody. In office, again, what is the example that the leader, we have to be role models.
Correct.
Yes.
Correct.
We cannot be perfect. Look at Sam Manekshaw, look at somebody like that.
Yeah.
At least take some inspiration from
Yes.
somewhere. Look at Dhoni.
Yes.
I mean, something is there now. वो substance है. So I think not substance abuse, solid substance है. तो वो जो substance है, that substance comes from being clear-minded, clear-hearted. If my agenda is wrong, if I have a goal which is greedy, then I cannot show ethics. If I am unethical from within, I cannot show, pretend to be ethical from. And then my team also sees. In government, I used to say that there are honest people, there are corrupt people, and there are fence sitters. The fence sitter will see the boss. How is the boss?
Yeah.
If the boss is this way, then they will also become honest.
Correct.
If the boss is corrupt, then they'll also become corrupt. They are the fence sitters. So they keep changing with the tide. So you have to be a leader who is not only, and then like we say, justice should be done and justice should also seem to be done. Firstly, justice has been done, but it should also appear to have been done to the common people that the right decision is taken. So I think that is what.
इसीलिए यूपीएससी में एथिक्स पे बहुत ही ज्यादा,
बहुत important,
इंटरव्यू में काफी ज्यादा,
बहुत important है,
Yeah.
बहुत
it
important,
plays a
हमारे
very
देश के लिए
important
important.
role.
सर आपने ना शुरू में बोला था spirituality, and I am very very close to spirituality as well. I devote time and all that. And then you mentioned be a good human, and then you mentioned ethics, integrity. अगर एक future leader हमें सुन रहा है आज, and मैं हमेशा कहता हूँ I try to say भारत instead of India. I don't know why I resonate with that. So एक future leader of भारत आपको सुन रहा है आज. So ये चार चीजें अगर मैं amalgamate करूँ, so what would be that one line message to one student कि you want to be a good future leader of Bharat, have these qualities, just not definition, but do this, just a roadmap to them. Like what should they do?
Just one or two lines. Firstly, live at the top of the tree. ये philosophical बात है. एक चरक bird है, mythical. It lives at the top of the tree. It drinks water from dewdrops and raindrops. वो नीचे जो कीचड़ वाला पानी होता है वो पीता नहीं. तो हमारी जो consciousness है, high level बात है, और उसको रेज करके ऊपर से ऊपर रहो थोड़ा. डोंट गेट इनटू दिस मिशमैश. तो अगर कोई फ्यूचर लीडर है, उसको थोड़ा रोल मॉडल भी बनना है, उसको इनर बैटल भी जीतना है, उसको बात भी ढंग से करनी है, उसको इम्पैक्टफुल भी होना है.
यस यस,
सब कुछ होना है.
yes.
और कभी कभी हमें बहुत ज्यादा किसी को फर्मनेस के साथ और अग्रेशन के साथ बात भी करनी पड़ती है कि नहीं ये नहीं होगा,
yes.
ऐसे बात नहीं होगी.
करेक्ट.
तो ये सब होना है. बट फिर यू कैन बी बैलेंस्ड. तो द की वर्ड इज बैलेंस. ये सब स्पिरिचुअलिटी, फिजिकल फिटनेस, मेंटल फिटनेस, राइट एटीट्यूड, इन सब का संतुलन होना चाहिए.
Awesome. I think there is one question from the audience.
बहुत सारे प्रोफेशनल्स होते हैं जो अपने 30s और 40s में ऐसे अटक से जाते हैं, और उनको लाइक पेपर उनको सक्सेस लगता है, बट रियलिटी में उनके अंदर में सक्सेस वाली फील नहीं आती है. सो उसके साथ लाइक कैसे वो लोग
कैसे डील करें? Yeah, so I think I like this question. So what you're saying is something that I resonate with, to be honest. So if I am I'm older, not 30, 40, but yeah. So if I'm 30, 40 for a second, and I have attained a certain role in my company. Now I took some pain to reach there. Now it takes me another 5, 6, 7 years to go to the next role. Now in that time period, what would be your advice to that particular person?
So when you become a little bit senior,
yeah,
and you want to become more,
correct,
you have to realize that nothing in this world, and now we become spiritual,
yeah,
nothing in this world will give you permanent happiness.
Oh yeah.
वो जो प्रमोशन मिलेगा उसके बाद आपको कुछ और चाहिए.
Yes.
वो मिलेगा उसके बाद कुछ और चाहिए.
Yes.
आपकी कटरीना कैफ या ऋतिक से शादी हो गई तो भी आपको कुछ और चाहिए.
Yes.
This is the way of human beings.
Yeah.
Now when you reach that stage, realize the spiritual life. Ultimately आपको spiritual बनना ही पड़ेगा.
Yes.
ठोकरें खा के बनना है
Yes.
या success के बाद बनना है.
Yes.
Some people become very successful, then they start giving back to charity.
Correct.
Because they've understood that they don't need all that money.
Yeah.
And they are on the right track.
Correct.
So I would say कि spiritual life को थोड़ा develop करके that calmness will come.
Yeah.
That peace of mind will come.
Yes.
When that peace of mind comes, then you will not lust for power and money and the next promotion. Then it will come. You do your job.
Yeah.
तो उसको raise करो अपने level को. Meditation, yoga, practicing the connect with God. That is how it is.
And I think this is such an important point because आज मैंने देखा है काफी students या freshers या Gen Zs, whatever we want to call them, Gen Alpha nowadays, they are Gen Alphas as well, start going towards meditation. It really helps.
Yeah,
Believe me this.
Yes.
It really helps.
There's a Harvard study that says CEOs who meditate are much more successful. They've
Yes.
researched.
Yes. Since I've started doing this, Piyush got involved with me as well. I have seen my sense of calmness, the way I can ask questions or predict questions or responses have increased, have widened. So it really helps. I'm the use case for this. So
Yes.
please do that. Please.
So sir, अब इस पॉडकास्ट का मैं आपसे सबसे मुश्किल पार्ट पूछने वाला हूँ.
जरूर
That
पूछो,
will be
जरूर.
that rapid fire questions.
बिल्कुल.
So our first question is, what's tougher, upholding integrity or adapting to the system?
I think upholding integrity, but it has to be done.
Okay. What's more important, vision or execution?
Vision.
And why?
Because vision will lead to that execution. Execution is comparatively easier. Visioning and implementing both are important, but out of the two, I think vision is more important.
Okay, fair enough. One leadership lesson you wish you had learned earlier.
I wish I didn't bother about what others thought too much, Thinking about public opinion, thinking about, it's important, no doubt. But you can't be self-critical because of that.
लोग तो बहुत कुछ कहेंगे. लोग
हाँ
तो
बिल्कुल.
कहाँ
मैं भी यही सोचता रहता था पहले.
What's the biggest misconception about being in power?
Yes.
I think that it will always be there. That's the misconception, that I will always be in power. But it will go one day.
Yeah.
So be humble, be grounded.
Do leaders actually like being challenged or do they just pretend to?
Good leaders like being challenged. Because if you are comfortable and if you are just, complacent, what is the point? So good leaders need to be challenged and they become better leaders.
Awesome. I'm going to take the next cue. So if you could erase one outdated corporate practice forever, what would it be?
I think abusiveness. It's a practice in many companies. So there are youngsters who have come from college where maybe they were abused there also. I think in the corporate world there is a lot of this bullying and abusiveness. I would try to remove it.
Awesome. If your biggest personal failure that became a leadership lesson for you, what would that be?
I think I was a little too restless and then, this should happen now, this should happen now. But later I realized that the patience game pays. Even when you're batting in cricket, you try to hit the ball too hard, it doesn't work. And you wait for it to come, you time it better. Like Surya Kumar Yadav, just time it.
What's one thing MBA students and young professionals get completely wrong about success?
Money. Money beyond a point is not needed.
Yes.
It is needed, but not beyond a point. Your inner fulfillment is needed, inner peace is needed, happiness is needed,
Yes.
joy is needed, time with family is needed.
Oh yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Couldn't agree more. What's a skill that professionals obsess over but actually doesn't matter as much as people think?
I think it's a balanced situation. They obsess over their technicality skills, their technical skills, their knowledge of the work that they do. But I think they also need to be physically fit. They need to be people skills. They need to have emotional intelligence. They need to enjoy the music and the birds and the trees. So these things need to be added.
Wow. I love when you said listen to the birds and music.
Yeah.
What's one truth about leadership that no one dares to say out loud?
I think leaders also feel scared and they don't say it loud. But then it's like the head of the family. He can't show his fear to the children. So the leader has to be dignified, and even if he's feeling terrible from within, he cannot let the team feel that he's feeling low.
Wow, that's awesome. And I really want to have some more conversations with you about emotional intelligence, integrity, but I think we'll find some other time with you for that.
We'll do it.
But with this, it's a wrap. And
It's a wrap.
Mr. Vivek, I just want to ask you, like, how was your experience? We're very inquisitive. Like, this is the first delegate series.
You're doing well, I would say. What I really liked was the chemistry between the two of you, because you work well in partnership. And first I thought I am the batsman and you are the fast bowlers. Later I realized I am the bowler and you are the batsman because you are two of you. But anyway, I think the good thing about you is that you are staying at the top level. You're not getting into too much detail about one thing or the other. And the conversation was flowing. That's the good part.
Awesome.
Thanks a lot. And thanks for coming here.
No, most welcome. All the best.
So, Mr. Vivek, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you with us.
Thank you.
We'll look forward to have many more meetings with you, many more conversations, because I think we have just scratched the surface. There are so many more things, I think, with your stature, we would like to talk and give a message to the young professionals and MBA students. So looking forward to many more such interactions with you. Thank you for coming.
Very kind of you. And my best wishes to your viewers.
Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot, sir.